the lions won't eat the hooves of the animal, again, unless it is a young animal, and they're still very, very soft. Whoa! Look how naughty they are. And this is it. You can see their personalities developing really well now. How they fight over absolutely everything. Look at that. See? Not much left. There really isn't anything left at all. Sorry, guys. But at least you just got a little power snack. I suppose it's like an energy bar for them. And it'll be enough to put them to sleep, to have a siesta today. But I reckon that they'll be very hungry this evening. So that might be some action. Well, guys, I hope you can understand me. You need to come across for your teller. There's 1 or 2 buffalo bulls there for you to feed on. But good luck finding them. And good luck taking them down, because those buffalo have now tripled in size compared to what they were in the winter months when they were just skin and bones. They are looking strong, and they will definitely put up a fight. So maybe it's a good idea that the Birmingham boys do hang around. It's very important to have them around. They are much stronger than the girls, and they'll definitely help in getting that buffalo to the ground. Like I said, and like we've all been saying, this is the time that the herbivores fight back. The predators struggle a little bit, unless your name is Karula and you're a specialist in catching impala lambs. Then you should do alright, but for a lion, an impala is simply just not enough. Neither is a young zebra, neither is a young kudu, and those are the easiest things to catch, but it doesn't do them much good because they waste all that energy catching something so small, and then they need to wait so that they can build up their energy again and carry on. This little cub is not letting go of this head of the Xongile. There's nothing. I can't even see where the stomach... Oh, there, I can see where the stomach contents were. Just to the left a little bit. That lion has just come from there. If you zoom straight into the middle, you should see all the feces that have come, all the undigested grasses that have come out of there. Here we go. So that's where they took it out. They've already eaten the casing around the intestines, which is full of nutrients. There's nothing left. There really is nothing left now except bones and horns. And even that, bones, I can't see any rib bones. I can't see anything like that. But sadly, we're going to have to leave these lions now. But I hope you enjoyed that, just to see that the Nkuhumas were fit and well. And thank you for all your help this morning and feeding us wonderful information. We really do appreciate it. Stef is hot on the tracks of a honey badger, and I'm sure he'd like to tell you a little bit more about them.
Yes, I cannot believe how lucky we've been this morning. Lions, leopard, you've got the Birmingham boys, Karula, and you've got some imprints in the sand right here, which is not as exciting, except when we take it into context that Jamie has challenged me to find a honey badger, and this is about as close as I've come in the last couple of days, well, except for yesterday as well. So honey badgers are moving around a lot. I circled it over there because I wanted you to see exactly what track we're talking about. We're talking about this indentation in the sand right here. So for those of you who like to take screenshots of tracks, let me just erase my ugly mark in the sand here for you, and I will then tell you about why it's a honey badger track. Now, a little bit earlier around Philemon's Dip, I mistakenly identified a honey badger track as a porcupine track. It's this exact track. The only difference was I was using the back foot in that particular instance. Now right here is the back foot, and you can see that I'm going to show you now while I made the mistake. That is about the size, not the width of a porcupine track. It was my mistake. That is quite clearly a front foot of a honey badger, back foot of a honey badger. This is the front foot and the one that you're most likely to see. Now, what I do want to point out is the fact that they've got a plantigrade foot, which means they step with their heel, the middle of their foot, and the front of their foot and their toes onto the ground. And look at these claws. Look how far away the claws are from the toes. So here's the one digit. It is this digit, the pointer finger of the left front foot. And look how far the nail is. If I were to put my finger in there, you'd see where my nail would make an indentation in the front of the sand. Look at the nail of this honey badger. Easily an inch long. So that would be the nail on the front of a honey badger's finger. Curved slightly down. That's what it would look like. Isn't that cool? That's how long it is. So we've got the collection of 3 toes next to one another, 1, 2, 3, with the claws, 1, 2, 3, out in front, way out in front of the track, and then a really big track. This is a big male honey badger that was walking down the road last night. Very, very awesome. So get ready, we'll ask Dave to frame it up nicely for you, and you can take a nice screenshot of a quite classic honey badger track in soft sand for your photos and your tracks. And then we're going to carry on down the road here. Still no sign of those wild dog, although I'm sure Brent is itching to find you. They didn't come this way, so it looks like they've actually came through Philemon's Dip, and then they turned west and ran off in that direction past where Karula was now, where you were sitting now with Brent. So we're going to head in exactly the opposite direction, give Brent and the rest of the vehicle-based guides the benefit of working that area out to the west, unimpeded by us strolling through the bush and possibly disturbing them. And we're going to walk into an area where there are no vehicle movements. My personal preference, to be quite honest with you, I quite enjoy walking in opposite directions to where all the vehicles are looking. It's quite often you find the most unexpected things there. And I don't know, I've been doing that almost my entire guiding career, is listening on the radio to where everybody else is and then literally just turning my car around and going in the opposite direction. And, hence, not many people see lions with me. Mario, you wanted to know if anybody's ever seen a pangolin or a honey badger on a live drive. Yes to both. We've seen relatively more honey badgers on live drives and even live walks than pangolin. We've only seen one pangolin recently. It was with Brent, and it was on Cheetah Cutline going into the Kruger National Park a couple of months ago. I'm sure some of our viewers would be able to share pictures with you. Brent was very, very excited about that particular sighting, and that's, as far as I know, the only live pangolin sighting that we've had literally in the last couple of years. Honey badger we probably see about, what did you say, Dave? Maybe 5 times a season, maybe 6 times a season. So we're looking at it around about 10 times a year maximum, I would say. Probably averaging it around 5 times a year, 5 to 6 times a year that we'd see honey badger, and evenly spread between vehicles and on foot, really. More difficult on foot. Honey badgers, they are quite skittish and quite shy, although of both cars really it doesn't really make much of a difference, except that you can give them a bit more of a surprise coming around the corner with a honey badger or with a car. Now Dominique, you wanted to know what animals a honey badger related to. Dominique, a honey badger is related to a mongoose or a badger. They're vivirids, so they belong to a group of animals called the Viviridae, and they have mongoose, honey badger. Oh, we've got some fresh buffalo dung here. You know what happens when I've been walking with my head in the sand here for a summer. So let me just finish that, and then I'll get back to why I needed to look up over here. So honey badgers, mongoose, civets, yes, honey badgers, mongoose, civets. Those are about the closest relatives to a honey badger. And in North America, probably your bears, wolverine, yes, that type of thing. Raccoon would be where the honey badger sort of fits in, and the vivirids. All right, we're gonna look for this buffalo, and we need to keep our eyes open for this buffalo. I was always taught by a friend of mine, you know when a buffalo dung is fresh, when you can take a stick and if you dip it in and it comes out full of dung, then you've got to watch out for the tail swishing you in the face. And this, although it isn't that fresh, is fresh enough to cause me some concern. So we're going to concentrate on the bush in front of us right now, and we're going to send you over to Brent with those leopard.
Well, the leopards are right behind us, so we can't move. I'm just going to have to go forward. Okay, hold on. So So Karula and both cubs are here now, and they're on the move. And this grass is so high, you can just basically see the grass parting as they disappear. There's Hosana. As you can see, the grass is so high, they just disappear. Oh, there's a big bump there. Okay, so we've got all three now on the move, heading south. There's Xongile. Here we go, little Xongile. I'm just going to try and find a spot where we can get up ahead of them. It's so fun because it's like guesswork. Brian, can you see a leopard? Because I can't at the moment. They literally just disappear into this long grass, and every now and then you see a tail flick up. Guesswork, leopard tracking. I literally cannot see a thing. But we know which direction they're moving in. Ah, there they are, near that tree. Okay, hold on. Now, also, we're driving quite slowly off the road because we don't know if there's any massive stumps that could bend our steering arm or break a tie rod end or other stuff. So that's the one downfall about summer. It's lovely and green, and you fall into holes that you can't see. That's a big hole. Hold on. Oh, well, anyway, there we go. We're out of the hole. Well, there's a massive hole. There we go, there's Karula. Oh, so it's incredible, look at that, she just melts into the grass. I can't see where Hosana and Xongile are at the moment, but they're around. She's looking back to where the cubs are. The cubs are coming slowly. There's Hosana. I don't know where Xongile is yet. It is so wonderful to spend time, always to spend time with these leopards. Oh, there's Xongile. Okay, well, we're going to keep following them through this long grass. Hopefully they get to an area that's a little bit more open shortly. While we do that, let's go see how Madam McCurdy's doing.
We found the wildebeest herd. Can you believe it? The wildebeest herd, which has been absent for quite some time. But the little ones are not so little anymore. They're now even starting to change color. They're losing that fawny tan color, which they are born as, and now they're looking more and more like adults. Isn't that cool? Now, I don't know if it's the same herd that we were seeing on quarantine, but it is just nice to see a herd. I think the last time we saw one was maybe at the end of January, beginning of February. Then we saw them for a couple of weeks in February, maybe 2 weeks, and then they disappeared and left us. But they are here living at Arathusa airstrip at the moment, and I don't blame them. There's lots of nice, delicious grass for them to feed on. Watering holes, it's actually perfect down here for them. But isn't that cool? And they're shiny, looking healthy. like the buffalo at the moment and the rest of the herbivores, they're definitely thriving at this time of the year. And I'm glad to see that there are some little ones with this herd. When we first arrived, I didn't see them. They were all laying down in the grass, and I thought, oh no, they've all been snatched up by something. But luckily, I was fooled. The grass was just nice and tall, and they were hiding away. But isn't that cool? I'm sure you must be all jumping for joy to see our dear friends again. But they're not as playful as what we've seen them. I think they've had an exhausting night. Obviously, they've been moving around quite a bit, and it looks like they're getting ready to settle down for the day. And it's nice so far. The sun hasn't quite broken through all of the clouds just yet, so it is still quite pleasant, and also not too uncommon for animals to sit down just sort of mid-morning. You know what it's like. You wake up early, you have breakfast, you go for a run, you do all those things, but by 10 o'clock, you're ready for another nap again. Wonderful. Hello guys, I'm just seeing what else is around here as we scan. I was hoping to see some interesting water birds, but nothing just yet. Right, let's move on. Let's carry on and see what else we can find. Like I said, I want to check this little pan here. Maybe there's a little sandpiper or a heron walking around here. But good to see those wildebeest. Nothing actually too much going on here. Let's see. Arathusa doesn't look like it had anywhere near the amount of rain we had. I mean, I remember seeing this pan as full as it is now. It was like this. Sure. When were we here last? What did we have? We had an amazing zebra sighting here. We had Egyptian geese and zebra chasing Egyptian geese around. That was a couple of weeks ago, maybe actually at the beginning of February. And it hasn't really changed much at all. There's a little bit more water. But that's it. That is it for this area. Okay, no special birds for us to see today. I think we got so lucky after seeing that Goliath heron yesterday that now we're not going to see any more birds. But we have got some crowned lapwings. Right. Well, we won't show you the crowned lapwings because Brent seems to have got another gap and the leopards are out.
Well, look at Karula. She's alert. She's heard oxpeckers. Now, of course, being at her height, she can't see what we can see. Now, there's a group of male impalas close by, but she hasn't spotted them yet. So I think they're probably, the royal families are probably about to be snorted at. Especially with Hosana and Xongile wandering around the way they are. Okay, I think it on cue. 1, 2. No, Impala, you're supposed to have spotted them already. Are you blind? There's Xongile and Karula. Karula hasn't spotted the Impala yet, so you must realize, with grass, the height it is an advantage as well as a disadvantage. Ooh, no, has she spotted them? But I think they've spotted her. Look at Xongile. I'll stalk them, Mom. I'll get them. Now, the snorting is definitely going to start. Impala are looking at her with a very bemused look on their face, and they have not snorted once. But she does have her tail up. There we go. That's about time. Karula's about 30 meters from them, walking down the road behind us. Xongile has gone off. Oh, Hosana is still coming through. Now this is quite interesting because the Impala haven't seen Hosana, and they can see Karula, and she's walking towards them almost, and they could even run in the direction of Hosana. You might get, oh no, Hosana, you're being silly. An Impala spotted you. You could have got an Impala running straight at you without even realizing it. Hello, boy. Oh, you glutted yourself last night, didn't you? Look at that belly. It's wobbling as you walk. Oh, now you see the Impala, doofus. Tim's wondering, do these animals smell the impala? I'm sure they smell the impala, but you must realize impala are the most numerous antelope in Africa. They're all over the place, so the smell of them is everywhere. So leopards, lions, wild dogs, all the predators, they rely on their sight to be able to catch impala and things like that. And as soon as they've been spotted, they give up the hunt because they need that camouflage, or they need that element of surprise. And a leopard normally will only go from about 5 meters. They do 24 meters per second, but they're only really charged at that 5 meters. Oh, solo Xongile, what are you doing behind us here? Now, unfortunately, as you followed them across the boundary to the north, Karula's using the cubs. See, Karula's using the cubs as a distraction. So the impala are completely distracted by the little cubs, and Karula is now taken off, and she's trying to stalk around from the other side. I suppose that's one thing, use your kids as a distraction. There's Hosana. Oh, but Mom, what are you doing? I don't know what's going on. They're snorting at me. So the impala, Hosana's climbing trees, impala are chasing each other. They're confused. It is, of course, about to be breeding season for the impalas. Hosana, you've just ruined everything. What are you doing? You're a silly cat. Button's cockatoo is wondering, do the animals follow the roads a lot out here? Yes, well, the roads are built on where the original sort of large game paths were in the area, and also wherever there was a high concentration of game. So the roads are designed to find animals, and lion and leopard will often use roads to walk between areas. I think Xongile is going to maybe join her brother up in the boughs of an Nkuhuma tree. Up you go. She's thinking about it. One, two, no. She doesn't want to go up. Okay, well, let's get a bit closer. Karula has given up the hunt as well. She's just sitting on the road, giving herself a good groom. And Hosana, where are you? He's quite high up in this beautiful brown ivory tree. Mario is wondering if I can tell the leopards apart when they walk past the vehicles. Yes, I can. Quite easily at the moment. Oh, if I can smell the leopards. No, you can't. So the only time you already smell leopards is when they scent mark, and their urine has the most wonderful smell. It smells like buttered popcorn. Look at this. And he's looking out. He's like, oh dear, I've got to come down. It's looking a bit steeper than it did early. So here he comes. Silly cat. Oh, he's going to come down right next to us. Oh, that could break. And we've seen Hosana fall out of a few trees. He's calling to his mom. Oh. You silly cat. He is so clumsy. Sorry. Oh, you went up there. You've got to come down. That was quite an unceremonious descent. Impala, of course, still snorting away. Karula and Xongile have stopped in the road next to us, in front of us, and he's heading on his way to join them, unless he decides to charge the Impala, which I doubt. There's Xongile getting a good bathing. Hosana, back. What are you doing? They can see you. He suddenly just dropped his body posture. He's thinking about stalking. Hosana, you've been spotted, Chief. Yes, move along. No Impala for you this morning. Oh, Xongile gave Karula a little bit of a fright there. Okay, let's keep up with them. Any station in the east, copy me. Karula and Montan heading towards Gowrie Main junction with Philemon's Cut Line, so just to the east of Triple M junction with Gowrie Main. They're going to be on the road in the next 5. There's 3 stations from the north currently here. So just updating the radio, letting the guys know if they do cross, where she's going to cross. Oh, it's decided to take a break. Now, of course, leopards are the only big cats out here that are really adept at climbing. And Shamson is wondering, do they have specially adapted paws? Well, not really the paws, but more the claws. And it's more their body shape that's adapted to climbing than specifically a paw or whatnot. So they have a very similar system to the lions when it comes to retractable claws, and other cats for that matter. But of course their claws are a bit longer for their body size, and that does aid in the climbing. But the biggest advantage they have in climbing is of course their weight. The reason they're not too heavy or not too big is due to the fact that they climb trees. So being too heavy to climb a tree would negate all the advantages that comes with it. So lions are social predators. Lions are much bigger. They can climb, but they can't climb well. But where leopards can climb very well because of their body weight. And that's why they fill that very specific ecological niche. Oh, she's going to scent mark. So we're going to have the lovely wafting smell of buttered popcorn quite shortly. So leopard urine makes you think you're in the movies. Okay, they are heading towards our southern boundary quite quickly. Hosana smelling scent marks. Now I think Tingana was in this area last night or yesterday, so probably smelling that male leopard scent marks. Sorry. Here we go. Stations, the sighting is on Zoe's junction with Gowrie mane. I affirm, Andrew, I just keep coming to Zoe's Junction Gari Main. They are on the fire break now, approaching Gari Main. So Tyler is wondering, will they jump on an animal from a tree? They will, but it's not too often that they do that. It's a very high risk maneuver, and it's not very often that they're actually in the exact spot where an impala happens to wander under. Oh, there's a little phlegm and grimace. So smelling urine, taking that scent over the Jacobson's organ, and basically that's one of the ways these animals communicate, is by urinating and scent marking, and they're able to take that over the Jacobson's organ, garner information, sort of sex, age, ready for mating, not ready for mating. So I think they're smelling Tingana's scent marks from yesterday. That's why they're so interested. So they're not so interested in their mom's scent marking or urine. Smelly, smelly, smelly. Double phlegm and grimace. I'm very interested in what Tingana's scent mark. Ah, Xongile is over it. Work those hips. Hosana is still fascinated by, well, what's possibly his father. It's very difficult, or actually near impossible, to say for certain who the dad is without doing genetic testing. As female leopards will mate with multiple males. There we go. It looks like the royal family having a royal breast. Brenda's wondering whether Karula will miss the cubs when they go their separate ways. No, she's designed to breed as much as possible, spread her genetic line, so as soon as these cubs, or she's already started mating, but as soon as the cubs are gone, she'll start mating again and start getting prepared to rear the next litter. The sentimental sort of ideas are very human, and they don't really exist in wild animals, and it's a human thing to think that it's, oh, she's going to miss them, but I've seen a female leopard eat her own cubs and then still walk around for 3 days trying to call for them. So probably not as sentimental as we would like to think. Okay, well, we're going to sit here and see if they cross south or whether they stay on our side. While we do that, let's go to Stef to see how his foot safari is going.
Sounds like you are having the most unbelievable time. And we are actually as well. We've got this pretty epic grass to show you. This is a grass that's in full flower at the moment, but it is protecting its seeds in the most unbelievable way. Just have a look at here, starting from the base, have a look at those hairs. Those hairs are singularly designed to frustrate insects, particularly ants, crawling up the stem to get to the seeds at the top. So just have a look at that barrier of spikes. Isn't that most epic? And then right at the top, after a substantial climb, you've got this little fuzzball of hair that is there to absolutely frustrate an insect. So once you've got past the barrier of spikes, you then have this fuzzball of, I don't know what you call that. just this ball of just frustration. And then right at the end, you can see why. Have a look at the top of the inflorescence of this grass. It's flowering at the moment, but have a look at how yummy those seeds look. Nice big seeds containing lots of fat and lots of protein. And that is what the insects are after. And that is what this plant has used such a substantial amount of energy to try and stop. But just to go from it again, have a look at that puffball. To go down from that puffball all the way down to this forest of spikes. And then just the sheer length of this grass is just, I mean, you can imagine an ant climbing to the top of this would be like climbing, I don't know, to the top of what, David? The tallest building on earth times 10? I mean, it just is the most unbelievable thing. These spikes are, let's see if they're hard or soft. These spikes are pretty hard actually. So they're more like spines or thorns. And have a look at this node here. They've got this ring of thorns that is actually pointing downwards, even more aggressively. Wow. Now once you made it up there and past all of this, you can imagine to an ant with some feelers and lots of legs that these would be almost impenetrable. But if you've by some miracle managed to get past this, you've still got this huge climb. Up and up and up. There in the distance is your prize. Except that there's another node there with another ring of spines on it. Just a really cool grass. Now why this grass is like this is grass so highly evolved in terms of all these speciality protection measures, is that grass is one of the most evolved and modern of all the plants on the planet, and now covers almost every environment barring, I think, just Antarctica, and true desert is the only place where you don't get grass, even though there are patches of grasses inside those areas. And there's no wonder that they are out in front of the arms race when it comes down to protecting themselves. Of course, trees just make themselves poisonous. So trees would have tannin in them, for instance, or some milky latex that is just so toxic to insects that they can't actually go into the wood, or they can't utilize the tree whatsoever, or even the leaves. So trees have their own special things, I suppose, but for the most part, I think grasses deploy some of the most inventive sort of protection measures, and non-poisonous things like this grass here. Just awesome. Just have a look at this field of grass that we're standing over here. And easily 10 or 20 different species of grass. And in the same area we've got probably about 5, 6 species of trees in the same area. So grass easily more diverse than the trees are at this moment. Alright, we're still carrying on with our search. We've actually got tracks of a young male leopard here on the floor, which I want to show you. We don't really know what young male leopard this is. We know it's fairly fresh. We know that it's not Tingana. So early in the morning we had the tracks of a very large male leopard. Although this is heading in the same direction, and it's taken us quite some time to figure out that it's not the same tracks, definitely not. So here we have the tracks of a male leopard here. And although that doesn't look too fresh, it is actually relatively fresh. Definitely from last night. And we don't quite know what male this is. I know there was a strange male leopard seen here just the other day. It might be him. This is it's a sub-adult male that is left his mom, so just out of teenagers. I would say young adult, maybe not sub-adult, young adult. And he's moved now south, heading towards Gowrie Main, away from where Karula and Hosana are. We know that Hosana is with Karula, or I know Hosana is with Karula, and so it can't be him. Otherwise I would have said this is definitely him. It's that size track at the moment. And he's heading off in this direction. Now there were some alarm calls coming from a bird in here. There we go. It's a southern black tit. This one's just hunting though. Oh, it's a pair of them. You can see them jumping around. Melissa, I'm going to answer your question in just a little bit about my ankle guards. I'll answer it in a second or two. We're just having a look at this pair of southern black tit, busy moving through this thicket of black monkey thorn, and they're doing it to find insects. So at the moment it's probably a mom, dad and a baby, and they are together foraging through this particular thicket looking for insects. Just nice to see. It's quite difficult to get close to birds on foot, and so when we do have an opportunity to show you, we like to do that. Alright, Melissa, now I can show you a little bit about my ankle guards. Melissa, they're not for ticks, no. In actual fact, I'd almost argue that these ankle guards that I wear make getting bitten by ticks worse. What they are there for is grass seeds. So let me just go in particular this grass seed here from this very nasty grass. So this is carrot seed grass. And as you can see, the seeds have got an almost Velcro-like hook on them. Now these get stuck in your socks and they get stuck in your shoes and they turn into the most abrasive sandpaper that you can imagine, to a point where it feels like your feet are going to be cut off at the ankles. So what these protectors do is they stop the grass, this grass from falling into your shoe and sitting at the base of your ankle and cutting into your skin, but they literally just stop that. So it's not for ticks, it's for grass. You can actually see all these white dots. Those are the scars from my tick bites over the last couple of weeks, and you can see around these ankle protectors that the concentration of tick bite scars is far worse than anywhere else on my leg, although from my knee down it tends to concentrate around the ankle. So I would say that the ticks actually, it concentrates the ticks around those ankles rather than doing anything to diminish it. Identifying them for something that they're not, and one of the most common forms of human poisoning is mushroom poisoning, not just here in the local areas around us, but also all over the world. So I did manage to show you a massive mushroom a little bit earlier on today. That one is edible. These ones I don't know. So a friend of mine, a good friend, Mr. Lee Guttridge, once told me that if it doesn't have your local supermarket's logo on the packet, don't eat the mushroom you find in front of you on your plate. So I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. So personally, if I possibly can, I don't even handle mushrooms unless I know exactly what it is. They're some of the most toxic plants on the planet. So we do, but I suppose you weren't wanting to know about animals inclusive of humans, you were wanting to know about animals exclusive of humans. I don't think so, you know. I think that animals there's definitely an arms race between plants and insects and animals that feed on plants, and every now and again I'm sure that the plants would develop a new compound suddenly, but I think these things happen so slowly over time that for the majority of cases, animals and plants sort of know what is toxic and what isn't, and they are able to either feed on them and like the monarch butterfly, use the milkweed's toxin in their own bodies to make themselves toxic, or they just become distasteful and they don't actually touch them whatsoever. So I think that it's a gradual change, and I think it waxes and wanes slightly, but not so that it would actually affect anything big. I think the biggest danger to eating, or the animal in the most danger of eating toxic plants out here is humans. In our ignorance, I suppose we don't know exactly what we're doing sometimes. We don't know exactly the identification of that plant, and we want to eat something or try something, or we're desperate in some cases for food, and you'll eat something that is atypical, and you can run the risk of poisoning yourself that way, and do in actual fact. Alright, we're going to carry on looking for this male leopard. I think he's going to cross, but it'll be a good thing just to see exactly what direction he heads in and get to know his track a little bit better, so that we can potentially recognize it in time to come. And so we're going to carry on down the road, and we're going to send you over to Taylor for an update.
My goodness, we have been racing around like you cannot even believe. We're back on Djuma. We're all the way near the southeastern corner to follow up on reports of wild dogs. So I know Brent is going to come and join down here. Now they were seen on Cheetah cut line, but I did see their tracks. They weren't going north, they ended up coming back, which is a very eroded road which we were driving yesterday on the Sunset Safari, just to have a little scratch around here. And I haven't picked up on anything just yet, so we'll just go through here, we'll have a quick look around, check Twin Dams, and then we'll probably go back onto Gowrie Main and go back up Leadwood. And hopefully they haven't moved away too far, but as you know, those dogs move very quickly. Alright, let's go through here. Let's go into the 4x4. Doesn't look like they've crossed down here, but you know what the dogs are like, they don't always stick on the roads. Go through this hold on Craig, it's very bumpy here. They go wherever they like, especially if they pick up the scent of something. Again, just like the leopards disappear in the long grass, so do the wild dog. They must look like velociraptors running through the grass, because they're not quite as right. Gremlins are attacking. I've seen Brent just ahead of me. Let's go across to him and see if he's having better luck than I am.
Well, we're working in an area. Taylor's coming down Mumba Road. We're checking Twin Dams and we're going to check Leadwood. Oh, Herbie's calling me. Standing by Herb. I was just giving an update. There's two Duggar boys in the Mighty on Francolin track between Chelepan and Weaver's Nest. So I was just letting Herbie know that there was some buffalo around, and of course bushwalk, it's good for them to know where the buffalo are. So now I'm talking to Taylor. Taylor, you were following up first. You're welcome to check Edward in front of me. Oh, birdie. A brown snake eagle with a very grey face. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? In the morning light, a lovely brown snake eagle. Now the last brown snake eagle we saw had a Mozambique spitting cobra on the ground. So I'm just going to have to move forward a little bit so Taylor can get past me. And Taylor, oh, there's a stump there. We're not going to go further forward. Taylor, I said Taylor was following up on the wild dog tracks first, so she can have first dibs. But you know, Taylor, you are dealing with killer bee luck. Okay, cheers. So. Killer bee luck. You can't really fight it, can you, Brian? Oh, Jacob, good point. I completely forgot about it, and I'm starting to run out of time. And Jacob is wondering, what is my current number on my bird search? Because I'm trying to get to 100. I need to check, Jacob. I think I'm on 30 something. Let's check on the app and on the list. We might have to just add a few quickly. This morning, 39 species. And when is the Sunday? We've got till Sunday morning to get 61 species. Now I think actually brown snake eagle was already on my list. I just need to double check. Yes, it was. Not another one to add. Oh, is Impala running because of dogs, or they're just, no, they're not running because of dogs, they're running because of Taylor. There she goes. Now, we've seen wild dog tracks already this morning. I don't really start getting excited until I can see tracks and smell the dogs. And I actually think I just got a whiff. Did you smell that, Brian? One of the few animals you can track with your nose, the African wild dog. You know what? I think I'm going to rely on killer bee luck. And oh, there's even a hippo in Twin Dams now. So is it a hippo? Looks like a hippo. And we've got some of the wild dog's favorite food around here, the impala. So I'm going to go park on the dam wall, see if we can sniff out a puppy, look at a hippo, and maybe add a bird or two to our bird list so we can get to 40. I think today, what's today? Today's Thursday. I want to get to 50 by the end of the sunset safari, and that gives us a good run through to Sunday. What day is today? Thursday. Oh dear. Time flies when you're having fun. I thought I had a whiff of wild dogs back there. I might have been mistaken. Oh, there's a disappearing hippopotamus. Breet is wondering, how do the eagles detect their prey from so far away? Well, they have excellent eyesight. Ooh, what bird was that? No, don't worry, Brian. It was just a three-banded plover. Hippo, pop up again. Come on, don't be shy. We've come to park here just to look at you. You can see the bubbles where he was. Maybe this hippo's a nervous Nelly. There we go. Hello. Yes, hello, hippo. You can even see the hair on its ears. Oh. They are very comical, of course. If you take them too comically, you might end up with a hole through the middle of your body, because they can be very dangerous. Oh, I hear. Oh, there we go, Brian. On that baby leadwood on the far left-hand side. Oh no! There we go, pin-tailed Whydah. Top of there. There we go. That's a nice one. That's a wonderful bird to hit number 40 with. In full breeding regalia. Now, of course, during the non-breeding season, he's a small, drab, brown little boy. But when it's time to chat up the ladies, he puts on his pinstripes and even a bit of lipstick on his beak, and he is off chasing the ladies. So quite a few of the bird species have a very different coloration, and from their non-breeding to breeding season. And I will show you a picture of a male pin-tailed Whydah during the non-breeding season. Hopefully, as he is not nearly as impressive. Now, of course, those long tails can be quite cumbersome, and the only reason he does that is to attract females, because it makes them much easier to catch, and it makes flying difficult, makes feeding difficult, but the ladies love a bit of a peacock. Aren't you a pretty boy? Now, while we're sitting quietly here, I'm also listening for that distinctive woo call of a contact call of wild dogs. But there we go. Let's quickly. It's gonna be. I think the light might be a bit difficult. Tell me where I must move it, Brian. Oh. There we go. Well done, Brian. So there we go. That is a male pin-tailed Whydah outside of breeding season. He's brown, he's drab, he's just another LBJ, but he really comes out of his shell in the summer. Well, that's a lovely bird to get to number 40 with. Now I'm just trying to listen carefully. There's Impala relaxed. The hippo is watching us. There's a common bird I should have got on the list, but I haven't. There we go. Hello, Birchall starling. We've got the Cape Glossy starling so far. We don't have the Birchall starling. So, a nice, easy one. And you know what I'm quite impressed about the 40 birds we've got so far is we haven't got that many of the really common ones that we see regularly. So, we're going to be adding things like starlings. I mean, we've got Oh, there's now 2 starlings. And a yellow-billed hornbill. If you heard that, that was a hippo. Hello. Yes, I'm still here. So there we go. 41 birds. A slightly disgruntled-looking hippopotamus. Some very relaxed-looking impala, which says to me, there ain't no wild dogs around here. Oh, should we move on, Brian? Let's see what else we can find. Oh, hang on, the pin-tailed Whydah is impressing the ladies. He's doing his flight display over a female. Look at me, 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 pretty lady. Look at me. I'm the best looking male. I'm the best, I'm the best. You have to choose me. Choose me. Choose me. Choose me. Choose me! Choose me! Oh, so there, that was a really, really, really lovely display from a male pin-tailed Whydah trying to attract the attentions of a female. In South Africa, I don't know what you might call it in the rest of the world, but in South Africa I'd say he got bat. It was a very well-played forward defensive cricket shot by the female, and he's picking himself up, hoping that he can... Oh, there's another bird. Land, land, land. In the large knobthorn, Brian, about 3/4 of the way around there. He landed. Another black and white bird. Let's go. Where's he gone? Let's get a bit closer. There was a southern black tit. Oh, I can hear a chin spot batis as well. Jason's wondering, how do I remember all the birds' names? I don't know, to be honest, Jason. I just remember them. I've been learning them since I was very young. I started bird watching with my gran at about 4. Okay, southern black tit, where are you hiding? Oh, well, that's not what we're after, but it is a different bird. Did you see where he flew, Brian? Are we going to get him from here? I don't know. Oh no, there he is. Where'd he go? There he is. Well done, Brian. A chin spot batis. Oh, what's going on? An impala snort. It's rutting season. Stop being silly, boys. Now, at this time of the year, we're about to go into the full rutting season of the impalas, and it is a time where they get eaten by everything because they're so concentrated on chasing each other around and fighting over the rights to females that they actually get eaten often by leopards, by lions, by wild dogs. Should I do a quick check on Karula? She was. We left her heading straight east down the boundary, so I'm going to see if she's crossed over or not. While I do that, let's go see how Taylor's wild dog hunt is faring.
Well, we just picked up tracks just a moment ago. They seem to be coming west along Leadwood, so we've turned around to go back down Leadwood, but I haven't seen anything else, so they must have veered off one of these directions into this very, very thick block. So I wonder if Brent didn't smell wild dog, because if they'd gone a little bit further northwest, they would have cut through the drainage line and popped out pretty much where Brent was sitting. So maybe we need to go back down Twin Dams Road and then start checking a little bit further north. Like I said, it's impossible to try and predict exactly where a wild dog is going to go. They have no laws and no things that they follow. They run until they pick up the scent on an animal, and then they start the chase, especially if they've either heard it or they've seen it, and then off they go. But I just want to triple check, because what could have happened as well is those tracks looked really fresh. As I was coming up here, they may have already just dashed across the road and then carried on back towards Gowrie Main. So hopefully between Brent and I jumping up and down on these roads, we'll be able to find them. But I also had to race all the way from Arathusa to get you, so I was definitely a bit behind those dogs. They might even be gone, but we don't know. They could pop out at any moment. Craig's got his eyes peeled. I've got my eyes peeled. I'm also listening out for alarm calls to try and figure out where they have gone. Craig, we've driven some of the bumpiest roads, I think, that are on the property at the moment. I think our kidneys are going to be sore. Birdies, have a look here. We've got some Crested Francolins. Hey guys, have you seen any wild dogs? It doesn't look like they've seen any wild dogs. They're not particularly startled. And often Crested Francolins will panic well after they've seen a predator of some sort. Very relaxed. They're just grooming themselves, all fluffed up. You see them going through the various feathers, pulling out the ones that aren't needed anymore, or perhaps are coming loose. But they actually look a little bit damp. A little bit, just on the front of their feathers. But that's probably just from walking through the grass and all the dew that was on the grass this morning. So by fluffing their feathers out and by grooming them, like I said, individually, it will eventually become nice and dry. You two are busy, aren't you? And they don't mind us too much. They're just in front of the car, which is really nice. Off they go, back into the wet grass. No, just having a little feed. No termites I can see on the ground for them to feast on. No dung for them to kick open just yet. But this is most likely male and female. Where are your chicks? Where are your little babies? Do you even have a nest? It would be lovely to find some little chicks this morning. That would be definitely a cherry on top of my cake. I'd like to see little guinea fowl chicks though, because they're funny looking things. And even better if we could find an ostrich with some ostrich chicks. My goodness, that would be amazing. But I don't think we will see an ostrich. If we have any chance, we've got to head all the way towards Cheetah Plains. Mr. and Mrs. Crested Francolin, I'd really like to go past you. Would you mind if I went past you? We'll try and give them a wide berth, but they'll probably dart off of the road. Excuse me, coming through. I won't be too long. If you just go off a little bit, I'll shoot past you. And then I promise I won't bother you anymore. Go that way. Don't come this way. Go that way. Nope. Go that way. Now the game starts as to which way these birds are going to go. And I think we're going to run down the middle of the road now. Okay. Good birdies. There they go. Off to the left. Thank you. Sorry. And I know you've just got wet again because they've ran through the wet grass. Sorry, birds. Right. Off we go. I'm actually starting to get a bit nervous now, because I didn't realize how close we were to Gary Main when we first picked up on those tracks. They could really be anywhere, these dogs. Let's just check very carefully. We'll go back towards Twin Dams. Molly, you're wondering how closely related are wild dogs to domestic dogs. I don't think that they're particularly closely related. If you have a look at any of the domestic breeds of dogs that we have these days, there are no dogs that have ears like wild dogs' ears. I have yet to see a dog with beautiful big conical shaped ears. So maybe thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, domestic dogs were somewhere derived from them. But though, I mean, I think you look at a dingo, for instance, in Australia. I think that there's definitely a couple of species of dogs that could resemble a dingo, more so than the wild dogs. So I think somewhere down the line their genes probably crossed paths, but a very, very long time ago, not anything recent. Alright, let's keep looking over here. We're going past Twin Dams again, so Brent's Hippo will still be over there. Now, I didn't see tracks crossing. I saw some hyena tracks, but wild dog tracks are a little bit more slender. They're not quite as robust as the hyena tracks. So it actually can be a little bit confusing if you're uncertain of the two, to mix them up. But also hyena tracks are much larger. I mean, and especially with the big females that are running around here, you can mistake them quite easily for lion paw prints in the distance, like I did this morning. I don't know how many hyenas must have been on the property today, going up and down Whydah access. Maybe it was that clan, that group that every now and then we see of about 6 or so. It was them, the 4 leopards, Tingana and the royal family, and 1 lioness walking down Whydah access. I would love to have seen if they were all walked at the same time, or if it was and the commotion that would have gone on. But the hyena tracks were the freshest. The hyena tracks were over all of their tracks, and that's what they do. Is once they pick up on predator tracks, hyenas will often follow and go and investigate to see if they have maybe caught something, and if they'll hang around and see if they can scavenge off of it or steal it, completely steal it away. Kate, now we've been chatting quite a bit about wild dogs, and you've got a question for all of us today, and that question is how many dogs are normally in a pack of wild dogs. Again, it depends very much like the lines. It's not sure. So there's a small pack of dogs that are 3, and then if you, for instance, if you go to one of the larger packs of dogs, and I think the biggest pack of dogs in the Sabi Sand is most likely the Toulon pack. The Sand pack will be close behind, but the Toulon pack, the last time I checked, had 23 dogs. They should be looking for a den site soon. They den in, and we're coming into autumn now, so they will probably have another good set of pups, and then they'll probably be over 30 strong. The Toulon pack is massive. Let me just turn this down. So yeah, it really does vary, and you've seen it. We've had a very unfortunate sighting where a lioness from one of the Styx lionesses took out a juvenile of a wild dog, and things like that actually happen relatively often out here. It's just not normally that we catch such a sighting. It's a rare thing to see. So not all the pups will survive. So I would say, and I've watched it with the Toulon pack, the one year they had, when I first got there, they had like 13 puppies, and I think only 7 survived out of that litter. And then they had more. They had another 10, and then all 10 were still there when I last left them. I don't know what the size is now. There were 7 adults, and then the 7 pups, and then yeah. But anyway, it ended up on about 23 dogs or so, and it was an amazing, really, really strong pack of dogs. So I'm going to go searching through here. I'm actually going to just come and check here close to Batelier Road, Vulture's Nest, and see if the dogs haven't made a turn for the north. But something incredible has been found on the property, something I have yet to see yet. It seems as though Stef has found himself a natural spring.
I have actually found a natural spring, and it's one of 2 that exist on Djuma. Now I know this because our friend Rexon has been living in this area for his entire life, and he says that he knows of 2 natural springs at Djuma. One is the one that we're standing at right now. The other one is at Whydah camp, and it's why there was a settlement on top of quarantine clearings, was because there was a spring there that allowed people to get water in the dry season. The camp is built on top of that spring, and it's where we all get our water from to live. The other one isn't as productive obviously, but it was just as close, probably about 2 miles away. Now the spring itself is collected, the water is collected in this area here, and then comes out of the ground in this pond basically, and you can see that the amount of inflow there is absolutely not the same as the amount of outflow that is here. Come and have a look over here. This is the outflow of this particular spring, and it flows into Treehouse Dam. Just have a look at this. This is water that's just coming straight out of the ground. Now, while I'm not saying that this is safe to do in any way, because what you got to try and do with water is you always got to try and scoop the top layer of water out. So when you are in an area that has springs coming out, don't quite know what's always in these places. You always got to just try and scoop the top layer. So this is the top layer from that pond that you were just having a look at, and you can, I'm just scooping the top layer here. It's the most oxygenated of the water. There you can see inside my canteen. Obviously giving it a sniff before, but you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a sip. Now I can tell you that there's no hyena carcass that's lying inside that pond because I can't taste the rank taste of meat that's inside there, but it's still a good idea to boil this even though it comes straight out of the ground. Just have a look at how much water that is. I mean, my canteen is 1 liter, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So we're looking at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So we're looking at 1 liter every 4 seconds. So what's that? 250 mils of water a second. A cup of water in terms of baking. So we're looking at a cup of water every 4 seconds is just coming out of the ground over here. Isn't that just the most amazing thing? I think I might actually just have another sip just because of that. It's always a good thing in an area like this to have sips of water that you can. It gives you all the necessary antibodies, I suppose. I love drinking water out of the bush. It's one of my favorite things to do. That and mountain streams. They just taste so fantastic. Now, come and have a look here. This is Treehouse Dam. Well, it's okay. It was the Oriole attacking me there. It's alright. We just got a bob and a weave going there and just got our face out of the way. Have a look at how full Treehouse Dam is. Isn't that incredible? And now we know why. Not only is it rain runoff, but we've also got a decent amount of water pumping out of the spring. It's going to be quite interesting to see how long the spring actually runs for. I mean, we haven't had that much water this year, to be honest with you. We've had a lot, but we haven't had by no means a high rainfall year. And yet, the gurgle of water, my favorite. This actually made my day. Hey Dave, it's quite nice to see you. Let's hope it doesn't make my night as well with tastes a bit muddy, I must be honest with you. It's a bit algified, but I think it's getting that taste from these plants. Just go with the name again, please, Megan, sorry. Buttons Cockatoo, excuse me, I just needed to make 100% sure that I had your name right. You've asked me, is there no chance that there's some sort of waterborne parasites inside this particular water? There absolutely is a chance of waterborne parasites. I would presume that you're making mention of bilharzia. I wouldn't normally take a sip out of water that was anywhere close to any rural settlements. Bilharzia is a parasite that lives inside of a snail that does occur in this particular area, but it needs human intervention. You need human feces as part of the life cycle of this particular thing. So over here there's just no human habitation whatsoever. This water is just coming straight out of the ground. What I have to watch out for over here is bacteria that is introduced into the water through feces of animals, just defecating in the water. Buffalo, hippo, elephant, warthog. There definitely are parasites that you can get from water like this, hence me saying that it's always a good idea to try and boil water at least for 3 minutes, in my opinion, before you drink anything in the wild. Can you get purification tablets? Yes. Are you going to get sick every time you taste water out here? No. Have I been drinking the water out of the Sabi Sands and its related streams for pretty much the last 2 decades? I have. I do deworm myself quite often, and I suppose I'm hoping ignorantly that that'll pretty much save me from anything, but I'm sure I'm going to get sick at some point. The biggest danger that you got to watch out for here is the fact that hyenas sometimes stash kills inside pans, and you can't always see from the top. Now, to go wading into every pan before you drink out of it is also unfeasible. You're going to get bitten in the face by a crocodile. So it's quite difficult to know whether or not there's a carcass in there, which is why you should just smell the water first. Quite often you can smell if there's a carcass been in it. This one just literally smells like this green algae here. And although I am taking a bit of a chance drinking it, I don't know, I quite enjoy drinking the water out of the pans. I think it does, to a degree, probably make you a bit stronger and a bit more resilient. I don't know, we'll see. I'll tell you one day. One day when I'm old and grey and still doing these safaris, we'll see what my life expectancy is going to be like. Come and have a look at the head of the of this particular seep. This is obviously this is where the spring comes out, and the reason why I say obviously is because it's been cleared, and the reason why it's cleared is because animals like elephant and buffalo and warthog have just enlarged the area where the spring comes out of, so that they can lie in it and they can get water. Now, elephant in the dry season last year would have dug and excavated out the spring to get the last little bit of water. And for those of you who remember where we are, I've done 1 or 2 segments here in the very dry part of last year where I dug water out of the sand and made a fire from some elephant dung and boiled the water from the spring in a snail shell and drank it, I think, if I remember correctly. This is exactly where it is. So there's definitely a place here that's deeper than my arm can reach, where the elephants have excavated a tunnel, and it comes out of this area. It's a pretty saturated area here. This depression obviously would collect water and the water would flow down, but the actual spring comes out of this area here and comes out of the head of this area here. And it's probably just water that is squashed between an impermeable layer of rock or clay and the substrate on top of it, the sand on top of it, which is very permeable. There's a lot of granite here. Let me show you what the granite looks like. Here the rocks break down to a very coarse soil. You can see here, very coarse soil, and that soil lets a lot of water through. But just like my hand, when you get a layer of impermeable a clay or rock on the base, the water runs out. Let me show you. Let me see if I can actually show you what I'm talking about. So you can imagine water falling there, goes through the sand, but comes out underneath the sand on top of my hand, which of course the water doesn't flow. And that's the principle basically here. You can see how it's filtering through the sand. The sand is dry at the top, but it's still releasing water at the bottom there. And that is basically, oh, a bit too much. That was my flood. The Stef's deluge on top of my hand, for lack of a better word. Alright, so I'm falling out over here. Alright, so we're going to carry on, hopefully not to the nearest loo, and find you something else interesting in the last couple of minutes of the show. We're going to send you through to Brent for an update.
Oh dear, it's a Thursday morning traffic jam. Good morning, giant land snail. Now, if I had to wait for you, it truly would be a traffic jam. I'm going to have to drive around you. Look how the antennae are extending and distending, and he's got, I think he's in about 5th gear. He's moving at high speed. Nice big giant land snail. Crossing the road. I think if we waited for him to cross the road, it would be the end of the safari already. So we're going to keep going. Just to give you guys some quick updates. Hosana and Xongile have come back into Djuma, and they're sleeping around Shibam Road. And Karula has crossed the boundary to the south. So the flat cats, and I suddenly got a bit of a scare about my bird list. So we're trying to add a few more bird species before the end of the safari. Remember, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, flycatcher, sorry, not Twitter, there was a flycatcher. Where did it land? In this. Where did it go? Did you see where it went, Brian? Landed on this edge here somewhere. Should we bring up the cheating noise? See if we can make him pop out. Psst, 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 psst. Psh, 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 psh. He's not falling for my tricks, is he? Oh dear. Now, quarantine's always quite a good place to bird. I'm hoping we possibly find some little wax bills or petilias, some small little seed eaters. They're quite difficult to see at this time of the year because of the height of the grass. And I just realized we haven't seen any Francolins. I haven't even done any Francolins on my list. So I'm calmly confident that I'm going to get to 100 species before Sunday. Well, the bird in particular I'm looking for in quarantine today is the purple roller. At this time of the day, and quite often there's a purple roller perched on one of the dead trees around here. Sometimes battling with the lilac-breasted roller. We haven't even done any vultures either. So my eyes are on the sky as well. It's a bit early for some of the vulture species to get out. Brian also made a very valid point. We haven't even done a grey go-away bird yet. Oh dear. And just tell me to go. Where are all the birds today? Oh. Land flycatcher. Oh goodness. Oh, that little flycatcher was off. Apparently, according to one of our avid Dam Cam viewers, there is a hardy-dar that's not on our list. Now, if you remember, we were asked a few days ago, what bird would you like to be? And I said, I'd like to be a hardy-dar and follow James Henry around and just go, ah, hardy-dar. I can just imagine how angry he would get. Now, of course, James will be back shortly. And so Jamie and I are going to be going on leave on Sunday, but don't worry, Commander Bond will be back to keep you company, and of course Miss McCurdy and Tristan and Stef will be around. Now also grey hornbill we don't have at the moment. Sorry, I seem to be on the radio. Oh goodness. People like talking a lot. It is not a cellular telephone, it is a radio for short, concise messages. Tom, if you go on Shabam at the junction of Treehouse Road, there's a pan there. Oh, off they go. There's a Senegal Lapwings. Off they go. Sorry, Tommy. Shabam junction with a fire break, and they are there. One is up in the tree, and the other is on the ground. There we go. Senegal Lapwings. That's another Lapwing. That's another Lapwing for our list. We've got Blacksmith. We've got Crowned. Now we can add Senegal. Now they are quite an interesting bird in terms of their movements. They are very, very sort of random in where they turn up. So, ooh, black-headed Oriole. You got him, Brian? Yeah. Perfect. Well spotted, Brian. There's another one for the list we don't have. So I said there's a lot of common birds we haven't got yet. Now, I was chatting about Senegal Lapwings, but we'll still stick on the Oriole while he's here. So, they're going to be very happy. They're going to be hunting caterpillars. Has he got one? Oh, he's got a caterpillar. Well done, black-headed Oriole. Now, they and the cuckoos really love... Oh, off he goes. Still got him? No. He's disappeared. Really love caterpillars. I can hear a crested barbet, which is another one that is not on our list. And he flew into that dead marula there. What have we got there? There's quite a few birds in there. I can hear him. I think he's down. Oh, there, Brian's on him. Crested barbet. Another good one for the list. Another one of the common species we haven't added to the list just yet. Well, now we have. Oh, well, we might even make it to 50 this morning, Brian. Oh, well, killer bees and all that. Okay, well, what else? What other birds? There's quite a few different birds in that tree, but there's the starlings. We've seen those ones. Let's keep going. Let's try find that hardy-dar. Oh, comb duck, comb duck. We don't have him on the list. Got him. There we go. Got his bum disappearing. A comb duck or knob-billed duck, a male with that very distinct. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? There you are. Lovely camera work, Brian. Ha ha ha. Keep trying to get to the hardy-dar and we keep getting stopped by different birds. Okay, comb duck. I'm going to be very interested to see after this little flurry how many we're on by the end of the safari. Will we get to the hardy-dar or not? We've got 5 minutes to go. Dun, dun, dun. Come on. Come on. See if you can spot that hardy-dar. The woodlands kingfishers are cheering us on. Cheering us on. The woodlands kingfishers are our own personal cheerleading team this morning, I think, Brian.
Yep.
So apparently there's a hardy-dar around the dam cam somewhere. Where are you, hardy-dar? It's vanished. Has it? I can see some blacksmith lapwings, a 3-banded plover. No sign of a hardy-dar. Or maybe it's the dam cam's moved to the other tree. Maybe the hardy-dar. I think the hardy-dar's moved on. Look. It's a very loud bird, probably one of the loudest birds we get at Djuma. Now, of course, bird is also slang for a lady. There's a loud bird, a very loud bird, and a very quiet cameraman. So I think that's probably the most opposite. We've got the loudest bird and the quietest cameraman on that vehicle today. There she's waving now. I'm surprised she's not shouting at us. The loud bird. Let's go away before she starts talking. Now, where's that hardy-dar gone? Let's see, can we get one last bird species to add to the list before... There's the hardy-dar! There we go, hardy-dar. Hardy-dar. They're actually part of the ibis family. Ibis. Hardy-dar, ibis. Tick. Okay, let's have a look. We are on. Oh, so close, Brian. 48.
Did well.
Did well. I think we'll get to 60 this afternoon. I think easily, without too much trouble. So, from the killer bees and the thumb, who's just got one little tie on today, let's say goodbye. Send you over to Taylor. We'll see you on the Sunset Safari.
Brent, did you really call me a loud bird? I think that's a very accurate description as to what I am. I'm definitely not a quiet bird. But here we are looking at a dab chick, or a little grebe, which I think is the new name now. They used to be called dab chicks, but they are beautiful. Actually, they have to be one of my favorites. I completely forgot about them. Just because they're quite active in the water, you often see them diving about, searching for all sorts of things. But I didn't... Yesterday there were two. This one is missing its mate now. It's flown off somewhere. Oh, and under it goes a little bit. It pops up again. Now, Craig and I were actually just chatting about how the water has dropped over the last couple of days, particularly here to the right-hand side. You can see how the water is now disappearing. You can start seeing the mud and all the grass popping out from underneath it. And it will. I can promise you, in the next week or so, this dam will lower itself by half, if not maybe even more. Wonderful. What a great morning it has been. We have seen many things out here on safari, and I think that's also the first time you've ever seen both of us vehicles on the dam cam while we're live watching each other. My goodness, how confusing. Now, sadly, this is the end of it for us this morning for Sunrise Safari. We hope that you have enjoyed it. It is really wonderful seeing the lions. But remember, we don't know what they're going to get up to this afternoon, what the leopards are going to do. We'll see you for the Sunset Safari.